Hello Trailblazers. Welcome to Letterkenny Ireland Developers Group. Today is our fifth and last session in which we'll talk about preparing for admin certification and we'll deep dive into sales and service cloud applications. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and check out all the other recordings on YouTube. I'm Nishant Singh Pamar, the community group leader for Letterkenny Ireland Developers Group. I'm also an architect, developer, and consultant currently working with Dell Technologies. You can follow me on Twitter at NishantForce and check out all my blogs at nishantforce.com. I'm 13x certified and trailhead ranger. I love music and play guitar for an hobby. If you're watching this on YouTube, please post your questions as comments and I'll answer them as soon as possible. Please do also subscribe to our channel to get notified for all the upcoming videos.
So a quick agenda about today. So today we'll talk about our community. We'll talk about Salesforce Admin certification for anybody who is new joining today, trying to get certified into Salesforce Administrator. Then we'll talk about the overall exams overview, what's new in the syllabus, and then we'll deep dive into two topics from that whole syllabus, which is sales and marketing applications and service and support applications. And then we'll also share some important tips and resources to prepare for your certification exam. We'll take Q&As, and also we have 3 certification vouchers to give away part of this session. So we'll have some activities at the end where we will give away 3 certification vouchers to all of you participants. Okay, so forward-looking statements, you must have seen this slide in most of Salesforce events. So this just states that if I mention about any feature which is upcoming or which has not been generally available, please make all your decisions, purchasing decisions based on only the generally available features and not based on what I say today in the session. Okay, thank you. So talking about the community, we are a Letterkenny developers group based out in Ireland, and you can reach out to us, see all our events, upcoming events at bit.ly lksfdevs, and you can also join our chatter group at bit.ly lksfchatter. You can follow us on lksfdevs Twitter handle, on Facebook at lktrailblazers, and all the session recordings are posted on YouTube at bit.ly lksfvideos. Coming to Salesforce certification, the admin certification which we want to talk about today. So this is a small quick video which I will play, which talks about the admin certification, what a Salesforce administrator is basically.
What is a Salesforce administrator? Salesforce admins go by many names. They are productivity powerhouses, CRM rock stars, and Salesforce superheroes. They are your trusted advisors on all things Salesforce and a vital bridge between business and technology. So what exactly do they do? Salesforce admins can work on their own or as part of a team. They work alongside management to bring innovation to life, streamline processes, and keep the bottom line moving forward. Admins work hard to fight inefficiency and champion productivity. They probe the depths of the Salesforce ecosystem. They learn all of Salesforce's newest features and make sure every employee is up to speed. Salesforce admins are part advisor, part artist. They create awesome tools on any device, like easy-to-use dashboards, intelligent workflows, and apps for any project. And most importantly, they are there whenever you need them to keep your users educated, your problems solved, and your projects moving forward. A Salesforce admin delivers creative solutions, making your users happier and your business smarter. So next time you ask, what does a Salesforce admin do? Maybe you should ask, what don't they do? Learn more at admin.salesforce.com.
Okay, so as you have seen in this quick video, that Salesforce administrator has a multi-facing role. He plays a lot of roles across the organization, aliasing with the business, gathering the requirements, working with the technical team, core development team, and also building some innovative solutions on the platform with just using clicks and not code. So you can think of administrator can do a lot of implementation without writing any piece of code, and they can just use the out of the box low code tools in the Salesforce platform and configure the system for the business needs, because out of the box features which are provided by Salesforce may not suit the business, and the administrator is one who comes in picture and tweaks the Salesforce environment or the platform for the needs of the business. So if we talk about the main core responsibilities of an admin in an organization, are these four. They vast across uh, many things, but if you I would like to summarize them, they would fall under these four categories. One is user management, so taking care of the users, making sure the right people have right access to the systems, they are trained to use the Salesforce platform, giving the right permissions, user assignment, making them deactive if they leave the organization. All those managing those users in the environment on the platform is what admin do. Then also make sure the data, which is the core of the platform where everything depends on the data, is up to date and is not having any bad information. So keeping them up to date with validation rules, no duplicate data with the duplicate management rules, customizing the data model, like adding new fields, changing some data types of the existing fields, all those things, making sure the data is good, and then making sure it is secure environment where everybody sees what they should see. They should not show any information to which are protected, which are uh, social security numbers, credit card numbers, hide them, all those field level securities to be implemented. And then having the IT alignment, working with IT to make sure that the system is secure. And then finally, for the leadership and business, have those reporting capabilities where you can put some reports and dashboards for the executive to see that how their company is performing, how it is growing, what's the growth rate, what's the sales, all those information. So mainly these are the four core responsibilities, and they also come up in the Salesforce admin certification as modules. We'll see them, and then we'll also talk about them in detail. So the exam, admin certification exam, is 1 hour 45 minutes exam. You get 65 questions, out of which 60 are evaluated and 5 are non-evaluated questions, which are just for Salesforce to make sure that the exam is up to the date, and they add some questions to see uh, uh, how the participants or the candidates are answering those questions, and then they will add them in future as a valid questions, evaluated questions. So total, you need to get 65% passing marks in the exam, which is basically 39 right answers out of 60, but you would not know which 60 are the ones. So I would say you need to get like around 42 43 right answers out of the 65, and then you get the results immediately once you finish. It's a closed book exam, you cannot take any materials with you, and it costs $200, and the retake is half the price, $100. uh, and then this is a old syllabus which has some high level markings, like these are the priorities which I always talk about. I'll compare these with the new syllabus, and I'll talk about it in detail. So, uh, user setup and security is part of highest priority, I would say, which is 20%. But this uh, sections gives you understanding of the platform, how Salesforce application works as a whole, and most of the underlying things are based on this. And this portion is mostly common for all the certification exams, like not just admin. It will be in the app builder, PD1, even the architect certifications. Also, they have security models and modules. So you should know this by heart. So this is very important topic to cover. And then the second comes is data management and the reporting. So which was three topics earlier, now they have clubbed them together: data and reporting in one topic, and workflow and process automation as a second topic. Again, this is also very important, 30% of the exam, where you understand how to make sure the data is good, how to create various reports, dashboards, and then create some automation tools to make your business process flowing smoothly, running smoothly. Then there are some smaller topics, like this whole green section which you see is vanilla Salesforce. So everything which comes out of the box in the platform without any customization is what Salesforce wants you to understand and know that this is what Salesforce provides, and you can take leverage of it without making any change. So this 40% course is very important, where you know that what Salesforce gives you out of the box. So standard object manager and lightning app builder, creating the custom objects, all those things, capabilities. Then you have the sales and service cloud applications, which we will talk in detail today. So let's start with it. So all these previous topics we have covered already in our sessions. So the first session which we did was for user setup and security. Then the second session we did was focusing on the data management and reporting. And then the third session was process automation. And the last session we had the object manager app builder. But also with that we covered the small 7% topic, which is the productivity and collaboration, which is very small topic. You would hardly get 2 or 4 or 5 questions out of this, but these are very simple ones. You can just memorize in the last week and keep them handy so that you get don't miss those easy questions from this area as well. And lastly, today we'll talk about this 23% of the exam, which is sales and service cloud applications, and see what are the various topics to be covered, what are the different details, and we'll dive into it. Okay. So sales and marketing is something. So whenever we in a whole CRM process going through, we want to first sell and make sure that we are reaching out to the customers. So this is out of the box capabilities which is built by Salesforce, which we should leverage, and that's what Salesforce want us to know for this certification exam. So Salesforce wants us to know what are the capabilities out of the box, like sales process, opportunity path, forecast, all these things we should know. Then for opportunity, there are different scorings like lead scoring, opportunity scoring, homepage assistant. All of these are also good uh, topics to be taken care. And then for the lead, you have lead automations like assignment rules, auto creation rule. Then you have campaigns which are for marketing. So you have campaigns and campaign members. So all of these topics come under the sales and marketing applications. Now we'll see what are the objects and topics. So out of that syllabus, I have taken out these 8 topics, and these are the core objects, Salesforce objects, which comes out of the box we should be taking care of. First one is sales process and opportunity. So we'll see how the sales process overall works. What is the opportunity object in Salesforce? What is sales path? Then we'll also see lead conversion, what happens when we convert a lead. And then we'll see the scoring, lead scoring and opportunity scoring. Both are Einstein now. uh, they have artificial intelligence included in the platform itself, so both are now Einstein lead scoring, Einstein opportunity scoring. Then you have forecast, homepage assistant, and for marketing we have the campaign and campaign members. And then you have the lead assignment rules, which we will talk in the next topic along with the case assignment rule. So with the service cloud we will talk about this also all together, because they are kind of common automation rule. And if you see, these are the icons for the objects. So account and contact, which is the core, or the, you can say, very basic thing. So everything and anything revolves around accounts and contacts in Salesforce, because you are dealing with customers. So your customers are nothing but a business. So that is the account which you are dealing with, and then there would be employees or the people working in that business, which are contacts. Then for those customers you create leads, that you are having a prospecting customer, that is lead. And then you have opportunities where you are trying to sell something to that customer, so those are opportunities. And then before that you do some campaigns, you do some marketing, you do some events, you do some email campaigns. So all that covers under the campaigns, where you do those marketing and try to capture these leads into your system. So overall sales, sales force, sales, everything revolves around CRM lifecycle. So you should understand first what is CRM lifecycle, right? So it starts with uh, the sales, pre-sales, basically the marketing. So once you want to do anything, you would start with the marketing. You want to capture the business, right? So that is pre-sales. So from Salesforce perspective, it is campaign object. So campaign and the campaign members. Members are nothing but the people whom you are trying to reach out in that campaign. So all the members whom you are targeting to make a potential customer in your system. So whom you will add as a campaign members, there could be contact or lead. So both of them can be a campaign member. So this is association which I'm showing. So there could be existing contacts in your system whom you will target for a campaign to maybe sell something more. So this scenario happens when you are trying to sell something more. So this campaign is to uh, sell something more to existing customers, or it could be lead, which is basically you are trying to sell to a new customers. So you will first create them as a lead in your system, which are your prospecting customers. Now once you have that, what you would do is convert this lead. So maybe you have this lead has said they are very interested in your campaign and they want to go ahead with that opportunity, maybe want to purchase it or something, they're really interested. So what you will do, you will convert this lead into your actual customers. So you will create an account and a contact from that lead. Account is the company name, basically this person where he works, so that will become your account, and then this person will become a contact working in that company. So this is how you create a account and contact from a lead, which is nothing but called a lead conversion process. And at this point, if you want, you can also create an opportunity, because in the end you want to sell something, right, to this person. So to sell something, you are creating an opportunity, that you have an opportunity to sell something to this person, and what you will sell is basically uh, sales. So now here comes your sales part, where you are trying to sell something to a customer, and what you sell is products. So you will have various products in your company which you are trying to sell to this person, so that products comes into picture, and all the opportunities will have products associated with it which you are trying to sell. And those products will have some amount, right? This is for $200, $300, and that amount will show up in your revenue, that this is what we are trying to sell, and the opportunity is going to win or lose, what is the probability to win it, and then based on that you will do the forecasting and all that. So products plays also an important role in the sales process, where it will tell what are the things you are trying to sell in your opportunity. Now let's say you are successful, you beat all the competitors, and the person is willing to go ahead with this opportunity. So you say opportunity win. Now if opportunities win, what you will do is you will place order for that customer. So now on that customer you will place an order, that is new object, where you set up all the details about billing, shipping, payment, all those things. So that is what you do in the order object. And the order will also have what products, because that's what you are selling to the person. So you will have products also associated with the order, just like you associate with opportunity. These products can be more than what you had in opportunity, can be less than what you had in opportunity, but it's generally like this is what final you are going to sell to this customer. Now once this order has been shipped and sold to this customer, what the customer will get is those products, and you will track those products in your system as customer assets. So now what the customer holds is an asset. So whenever a product is sold to a customer, it becomes asset. So asset is nothing but a junction object between products and account. So you have sold a product to a customer, which becomes asset in your system, which is a customer asset which they hold. And now for this asset, they if they have any inquiry, they have any query, they have any problem, they will reach out to us again by creating a support case. So this is after sales. Post sales you create service and support. So you can give some services for this asset, like upgrading the software. You can give some support if this is not working, if it is broken, if it is under warranty, all this entitlement. So basically that is what you will say entitlement. Entitlement is what this customer is having entitled to. So one example of entitlement is like warranty. So customer is entitled to a 3 years of warranty. Basically until 3 years anything happens to this asset, the company will resolve it by fixing it or sending a new product on the behalf. So that all covers under the service process, which is post sales. So this is overall CRM lifecycle, and we are trying to cover all of these objects in today's session. We are trying to talk about campaigns, we are trying to talk about leads, talk about opportunities, and then we'll talk about the cases where we do the services. And these all are helping objects which comes in between order, asset, product, but you should be aware of these objects as well, which are part of the whole CRM lifecycle. Okay. So starting with the sales part of it, We'll talk about the lead and what are the business processes, what is sales path, what is Kanban. All these topics are from the syllabus, and we'll try to talk about it. So now you see on the lead, we can capture various statuses. So on the lead can start with as an unassigned lead, and then it can be open lead. So unassigned is like you have created a record, but now it is not with any agent. Nobody is taking look into it. So any sales agent has not even picked it up, which is maybe sitting in a queue. We'll talk about queues as well. So but just understand this, that it is sitting in a placeholder. Nobody is looking into it, nobody is owning it. So there is no owner at this moment, then it is said unassigned. Now if it is assigned to somebody who is sales agent who is looking into it, but they have not yet reached out to the person, then it is under the not contacted or open status. Then you would make a contact, talk to them, create some activities on the lead, maybe a phone call, send an email, all that thing. Then it will come under a status called contacted. And then finally, when you are happy that the customer is interested in the product, you will convert this lead into converted status, and then it will create a account and contact. So on the top, what you see these arrows, the status path, which are nothing but the path. So this is sales path, which you see here. So on the different stages, you can highlight it, you can click on the icon, and it will show you some key fields which are very important for you to see and have a quick look, maybe phone number, so you can do a phone call. So for unassigned status or open status, these are important fields, like you need to make a phone call, you need to make a um, visit the website or make an email. So these are important fields for this status, right? So you can edit or create and set up these highlight these fields which are important for the sales agent when they are on this particular stage. And then also there is something called guidance for success. This is nothing but some bullet points which you can add for every stage. And then for this stage, if somebody reaches this stage, they will see what they should do on this stage to make sure that lead progress further. So you should do some activity, you should create and learn about their business by going to this website. So these are some bullet pointers which will help even the new sales agents. So let's say that you have in your company acquired a new sales agent and they don't know how to work on your sales pipeline. So then these successful guidance for success will help them to progress further on their path. Okay, so this is for the lead. Now similar, the path is there on the opportunity also. So this path is available to be configured on lead as well as opportunity. So both the objects have this path, sales path, and you also have this button to make any status complete. So you can make the status as complete by clicking on this button, or you can just click on the status button here and then go to that stage. Now uh, the status is what you see, right? The unassigned, open, contacted, converted. And for opportunity, the status is, or the stage, it is called stage in opportunity. On lead it is called status, but on opportunity it is called stage, which is prospecting, uh, proposal, price quote, negotiation, close one, close low. These are very basic. You can keep adding more if you want. So based on how your company works, what is your uh, need, company can add more stages into this. Maybe some companies take 5 6 approvals, maybe there are approval steps in between, they want to do some approvals before progressing further, maybe discounting. All that steps can be added onto this based on the company sales pipeline. Okay, and that configuration, adding more stages or removing a stages for the lead and opportunity, is controlled by business process. So what are business process? There is out of the box process you can create, which is for lead it is called lead process, and for opportunity it is called sales process. So you go into setup, create a lead process, and then in the lead process you define for a particular record type what are the applicable status values. For opportunity you go to sales process and define what are the applicable stage values for this particular record type. In the previous session which we had, I have talked in detail about the record type, business process, how do we do the assignment, all that. So you can review that as well. But on high level, if you try to understand, business process is to say this process applies to these type of opportunities. So there could be multiple type of opportunities, maybe for selling smaller products, bigger products. You can have different type of pipelines which are applicable for different type of selling. So then you can have different stages for them. So maybe some opportunities are quicker and you don't need approval stage in it, so you can have just prospecting, price quote, close, won, loss, just three, 4 stages. But some are the bigger pipelines, maybe for the larger clients, then you need multiple stages, so you can add more stages. So all that configuration happens in business process, which is sales process and lead process for lead and opportunity. And similarly for case object, the business process name is called support process. And for solutions, it is solution process. So these are only 4 type of business processes which we can set up in Salesforce. So it's good to remember these 4 names, and which object they are associated with, what is the field on which it drives the values. Okay. And last one is Kanban. Kanban is nothing but maybe an intuitive way to work on opportunities. So you see all the opportunities on a single page on a high level instead of list views. So on the list view, you see list of records, right? Instead of that, all the records are spread out on this page, and you can have them grouped under different stage. So you here the staging, you see the need, qualification, value proposition, closed won, closed lost, all these statuses are where it is being grouped. And then you can just drag and drop these opportunities from one stage to another, and it will update the stage of that opportunity. And then it will also roll up the amount. So revenue of all these type of opportunities is rolling up here, and you can see 370 k dollars is what opportunity roll up for all the ones which are in proposal. And then all the close won are 3,645,000. So all this you can see on Kanban. And you can also customize this Kanban settings. So here the grouping is done by stage, right? If you want to change this grouping with some others type value, maybe opportunity type you want to use to group, you can do that. You want to change the roll up field to quantity, maybe quantity of the products, anything numeric field or anything which you can roll up to, you can modify this field also instead of revenue. Whichever field more convenient to work with, you can modify these settings in the Kanban settings. Okay. Moving forward, let's talk about lead conversion. So uh, as we saw in the previous CRM lifecycle page, right? So whenever we are converting the lead, we can convert the lead into account and contact, and optionally an opportunity. So creating opportunity is not mandatory, but if you convert a lead, account and contact will be created for sure. But if you want, you can optionally create an opportunity also. So this is optional objective which you can create. That is for a business type of lead. So if it is a company with some contact we are trying to convert, this will create a business account and contact. Whereas if you are talking about person account or an individual customer, so maybe you're trying to sell to B2C, like your business is trying to sell directly to the customers. You are not doing B2B business where you are first selling it to a company and that company sells forward to their customers, and you are dealing with that company, and then on the company there are some employees who work. So in that B2C scenarios, you convert the lead directly into a person account. Person account is a feature in Salesforce where you can club the information of account and contact on a single page. Person accounts is something, it's a business because all the CRM works on account. Whole CRM, Salesforce drives from account object. Everything drives from the account object. So if the account has only one contact which you are dealing with, instead of calling it account, you call it person account, and you can put the name information also. Companies generally don't have first name, last name, right? But on the person account, you can have the various contact fields also, like first name, last name, email, phone number of that contact. All the contact fields can be shown on that page layout of the account. So it's kind of a clubbing account and contact information together on a single page layout. And it has the contact record being created at the back end, account record also there, but you see all the information together on a single page and you work with that person account. So it creates one person account record, and again same optional opportunity, if you want to create, you can create the opportunity also. Now uh, what are the conditions which you should understand and keep in mind uh, about this business account, person account, which is important that uh, whenever you are converting the lead, On the lead, the company name becomes the account name. So if you have the company name populated on the lead, it will convert into a business account and the account name will be the company name. Whereas when you are trying to convert person account, converting it to a person account, you should not have the company name populated. So if a company name should be blank and you should convert the lead, then it will convert into person account with the first name, last name, and all the details on the account person account page. So this is an important point. So whenever you have person accounts enable, leads that don't have a company name are converted to person account. If you have company name, that will be converted into a business account. And then once you convert, the lead becomes read only. You cannot edit the lead record or modify any fields on the lead. You can only modify the account and contact which got created. And if you are, while doing the conversion, you have two options. So either you can fill the information of this lead into an existing account and contact. You can have existing account, create new contact, have both existing account and contact, or you can create new account and new contact. All these combinations can be possible. But if you are using existing account and contact, Salesforce will never override any data. So let's say from lead to account contact, you have some fields map. So information from lead will populate into those account and contact. But if that field has information populated already, it will never overwrite the information. It will just add up information in the blank fields. So all the fields which are blank on the existing record and some information is there on lead, then it will populate, but existing data will never be overwritten. But for the new account and contact, all the information will be created and populated. And even if you have set some default values, it will not put the default values. It will always put the values which are on the lead and override the default values during the conversion. So blank values will be replaced with the default picklist values if there are nothing on blank on the lead. So if there is no information on the lead, you are creating a new account, then you will system will apply the default information which you have on the field. And you cannot convert lead when it is in the pending status with any workflow or in approval process. In any of those automation, if it is in a pending status, it will not be available for conversion. And uh, the leads are associated with campaigns, right? We saw in the beginning that on a campaign, the leads will be linked and then you convert them into account, contact, and opportunity. So when you create opportunity, the campaign information from on the lead will be populated on the campaign as a primary campaign source. So when you create the opportunity, it will have the campaign information populated in the opportunity as a primary campaign source. So opportunity have a lookup to campaign that will be populated, and this primary campaign source field will be populated. And it's very important point. Generally, will be there in examination questions as well. So you should know what is primary campaign source and how it is populated. So it will be populated with the recently associated campaign. So this lead can be associated with many campaigns. There are 5 campaigns under which this lead is present. But when this lead get converted, the most recent campaign information will be populated in the opportunity as a primary campaign source. And last but not least, this is roll-up summaries, which are if there are any on the lead, they will not be available for the lead mapping. You cannot pass on the roll-up summary fields into the account and contact. Only the other fields like number, text, all that can be mapped to the relevant data types in account and contact. Also, when you do the lead conversion, all the related lists, basically on the lead, you have open activities, activity history, which are the past activities, you have campaigns, you have email status, notes and attachment, which is no more. You will now only have files. All of these will also be transferred to the new account, contact, and opportunities. But so what is transferred? You can see on contact, everything gets transferred. Account, only the activities and the attachments or the files. Person account, again, just like contact. Person accounts are just like contact, so everything. And on opportunity also, just like account, only the activities and the files will be transferred. Okay, so this is about lead conversion, and there will be definitely 1 or 2 questions about lead conversion in the exam, and this is very important topic from the certification point of view. Moving next, lead and opportunity scoring. So basically, scoring is something like you are giving some probability to the lead and account for it to be converted or win. So lead what's the probability that lead will get converted as a account and contact, and what is the probability of opportunity to be won. So these are the scores which you are getting, which is nothing but probability, and it can be between 1 to 99. So there can't be 100% probability, there can't be zero probability. So it's between 1 to 99, a score which is generated on the record, and it is done by the AI engine which is on the Salesforce platform, which is called Einstein. So that's why it is called Einstein scoring, and it will give you the number, and it will showcase that what are the reasons based on which that number is coming. So it will give you the reasons, like you can see the top positives. The positives here are that industry is consulting, state is PA, so all these department sales. So maybe why these are coming, because you have recently converted or won, converted a lead with all these kind of values in it. So if you have all these kind of values in this lead also, so the probability is high that this will also get converted. So based on that, Einstein is giving you score. So this is based on your past data. So Salesforce will analyze your past data, and based on that predict for the new records, and it will keep running that score for every 10 days. So every 10 day it will run the score, and show you which is the uh, which is the chance of this lead to get converted, and it will give you the and we'll get the lead on the 10 days, every day, every 10 days. Now for opportunities, it will also give you a high score in case the opportunity is moving quickly through stages. So on the lead, it is basically using the lead fields, that these are the different values based on which it is giving. On opportunities, it will also use the change history of the opportunity, like if it is changing from prospecting to negotiation to review approval very quickly. So it has just on the same day passed 3 stages, means it is flowing very fast into the different stages. Then also it will have high probability of winning. So that also is considered on the opportunity scoring. And then on the uh, opportunity, you can also add the scores into the forecast page. So this opportunity score can be added to list views, you can add that to the highlights panel, you can add it on a uh, app page. On the app page you can add the whole Einstein score component with all the positives, negatives. You can add it on the highlight panel where you can see the score, and if you hover over it, it will show you the reasons why it is this score is there, with what are the positives, what are the negatives. You can add this value on the list views to sort the data based on this. So maybe you want to work on the high probability ones first, so you can do the uh, sorting of the data based on the opportunity score. You can add this to the forecast page as well. Okay, so now we understand what is lead and opportunity scoring, but there are important considerations which should have. These are again theoretical things which you should remember. It's not like you should have it by heart, but just have high level understanding and learn these figures at least, that what are the consideration you should have when you are having. So these can come up in exam, that why the score is not appearing, why the score is not changing. All these kind of questions can be there, and you should be able to give a correct reasoning based on your knowledge out of these values. So first consideration, that in your system you should have enough data for the system to give you the scores, right? So you should have at least 1000 leads in your system which are created in last 200 days. So this is minimum uh, minimum data qualification which you should have for the Einstein to work and predict for the new leads. And then for these 1000 ones which you have created in last 200 days, at least 120 should be converted, so that it can predict that out of these 1000, these are the 120 which got converted. Now the new ones, what is the probability that it will get converted or not? So this kind of information should be there in your system. Now this is not at org level, because you can do lead scoring at a segment level. So you have your lead object, a big object, and out of which maybe you segregate them into 5 categories. So heavy leads, hot leads, maybe us leads. You are segregating them and then running this lead scoring engine on a segregated set. Then each segment should have this criteria satisfied. So if the segment doesn't meet this criteria, then it will not do the scoring. So if the lead conversion data falls below this minimum requirement, it will not do the scoring. Okay, and if the lead get converted, then also it will not do the scoring. Now, also, what are the reasons that the score is not appearing? Is because once you enable this, it will take at least 24 hours for the scores to be available for the first time. It takes 24 hours. And then once you create a lead, for that particular lead, it will take 6 hours to get the score generated. And then there are some very minimal things like it, if it is not modified in last 6 months, no activities in last 90 days, and if it is not meeting any segment. So you created segments and you are doing the scoring in segments, and this leads fall out of the scoring segment, means you are not considering this lead for the Einstein scoring, then it will not meet the criteria of the scoring and it will not have the scores generated. And then if the lead is unqualified or unassigned, which is not been yet into activity or being worked upon, then also it will not have the scores generated. So these are some consideration which you should remember from the exam point of view. Then same for opportunity. Only the high level things remains different, otherwise it is almost same, but you can read through. So you should have at least 200 opportunities which are won and lost in 24 months, both. So 200 won and 200 lost in 24 months. So to analyze these 400 records and give the prediction. And also there should be some history of those opportunities to track that thing which we talk, right? How frequently the stages are changing. If the stages are changing very frequently, that is also what is being tracked, right? So you should have those history information in your opportunity, where you are having at least one update in 2 days. So in 2 days at least there should be one update on the opportunity, and uh, having a 2 days lifespan. So there should not be even very fast that on the same day it had all the stages completed, then Salesforce will not be able to consider that kind of lead for the prediction. And last, if you don't have any enough opportunity data, irrespective that it will predict the score. In lead, what we had was that it will not predict the score if it doesn't meets the minimum data requirements. But for opportunity, if it doesn't meets the minimum data requirement, what it will do is it will use a global model. So it will take the data from other Salesforce customers, anonymous data. It will not showcase that in your org anywhere, but it will on the back end use anonymous Salesforce data from other customers and have a global model which Salesforce has built. And based on that data model, it will run your opportunity on it and then show you the score. Then last, again similar, if you have enabled the opportunity scoring, it takes 48 hours here. So in lead it takes 24 hours, here it takes 48 hours for the scores to be available. Again, once a new opportunity is added, it takes 6 hours for it to have a score. And then if you or the admin have excluded the opportunity, it will not fall under the scoring. And also if the opportunity is scored last more than 3 months and it is closed, it will not have a score and it will just give a default score of 5. So that's also something to keep in uh, mindful of. Okay, so moving next. Opportunity forecast. So forecast is something like weather forecast, right? Similarly, we have opportunity forecast. So we are predicting what is company's revenue, basically what is company, how the company is going to grow in a quarter or in a year. So we want to see what is going to happen to the company in future. That is something we call a forecast, and that forecasting is done based on the opportunity records in Salesforce. So you have different components here, you can see. So you have the opportunity owner, different people, so you can forecast based on different user, what user is having a greater opportunity, who is having less. So this user based you can do forecast, you can do amount forecast, how's the revenue gonna grow. Then you have quantity, how much quantity you are selling, so you can forecast about your quantity, how much it's gonna sell. Then you have close date, so this will tell when this will sell, right? So you can forecast that this will happen in uh, next quarter, this will happen 2 quarters from now, all that kind of information you have based on the close date. So this is a possible date when it will win or lose. And then you have the stage, that what stage it is. So at this point, if it is a prospecting stage, it means okay, there are less chances for it to be converted. It is in a decision point, so okay, it has more probability, all this thing. And then you map these stages into a forecast category. So on the forecast level, you don't want all these stages, right? So you can uh, uh, transform, or you can say you can uh, translate these stages into different forecast categories, that it is in a pipeline stage, it is in a commit stage, or in a close stage. So these can be like your three different stages, where it is first in the pipeline, then it is in the commit status, and then it is in the close status. All these you can have different forecast categories. You can define more custom forecast categories. You can also have do this forecasting on a group level, right? So this is called cumulative forecasting. So what you can do is you can have group these categories. So these are the categories we are seeing, right? Open pipeline, best case, commit, and close. Now I can have that closed will show only the closed ones, commit one will show commit plus closed, and then best case can show best case plus commit plus close. I can define all these cumulative forecasting as well. So open pipeline will contain everything. So everything in the pipeline is open pipeline. Best case is only the ones which are past the pipeline stage and are the moving forward. So forth, I can do the cumulative forecasting as well. And then you see these values currently, right? So you have 20,000, 15,000, and 35,000. These are the three opportunities which Matt Wilson is currently working on, and the forecast is that we will have a revenue of 70,000 in 2015 December. So this is the forecast which we are doing. But you see, this can be different on the forecasting page as well. So like we get this revenue and multiply this revenue with the probability of the stage. So this stage is prospecting. So let's say this has only 10% probability of getting converted. So we'll multiply the 10% with this amount, and then only add that up here. So you will see the actual amount which rolls up to the org level is probability multiplied into the amount, and then you see the forecast. Now, like there are even Einstein forecasting, which has been enabled, which will give you even more details, even broader than the just multiplying the probability into the amount. So you can moving next, homepage assistant. So on homepage we have some other opportunity and the sales productivity tools which we can take leverage of. So one of that is homepage assistant. It brings all of the things together on a single component, and you can work on it, like all the leads, opportunities, all those comes up on a single page. So this assistant will have those different records. So you have the new leads which are being assigned to you, opportunities which have some task on it which are overdue, which you have to complete. You will get those notifications. If there are any opportunities with any pending activities where you haven't done any activity in last 30 days, if there are no open activities, you should start something on the opportunity. And if the opportunity is overdue, basically you set a close date but you haven't met yet, it has passed the close date and it has not either won or lost, then you can, that will also come up here for you to act upon. So these are something like you can act upon these items on your home page itself, and it will show 10 records at a time. So 10 different items from this type of things. And then you can add global actions. On the home page you have some buttons to directly click and create leads, cases, opportunities. You can have those global actions to create events, tasks, all that. And then you also have a chart for performance, sales performance. This is nothing but from the forecast you are getting the revenue forecast, how much it's going to grow in the upcoming months, and what is your target, is it meeting the target or not. All those things you can set the goal and everything. So this is for the uh, business senior leadership to track on how's the company performing. Okay, so this is about the homepage assistant. Last in the sales and marketing is campaigns, which is the marketing part of it. If we talk about this on the object data model first, so you have the campaigns. That campaign will have campaign member, and there is an object called campaign member status. This is like you can define statuses for individual campaigns. So this campaign will have some 5 or 6 status. So you can define for every campaign what are the status values. Like how we have for lead, we have sales process, we have support process for case, but that status values are controlled on the record type level. So a type of lead will have same status values, but here on a campaign we have feature that on every campaign I can define different statuses, member statuses. So again, for campaign, we are not talking about the campaign status, but we are talking about the status of the members. Like the members can have various status, like it attended, cancelled, no show, all these. So maybe this is for a physical event where you have all these attended, no show. But for a virtual event, you don't want maybe attended, or you just maybe want just one, like attended or not attended. You don't want the RSVP, no show, all those things, because it's a virtual. They just on the fly join it or not join it. So maybe for a virtual kind of event, you don't want all these values. Maybe for an email campaign, you want statuses like responded, not responded, just those things, interested, not interested. So you can have those different statuses for a different type of campaign, and they can be of two types. One is default. So default status is basically which gets applied when you add the member to the campaign. So as soon as you add the member, the default status will be applied, which is sent, or it can be anything. Then you have responded status. So in any of the status, if you reach the member, reach this of status, then it will be considered as responded or active on this campaign. So you can roll up the information how many members have responded on the campaign based on this responded status. So anybody who is on the responded status like attended and RSVPs will be counted under responded count on total for this particular campaign. So and you can see all these information. So you have the event information, all the campaign details, contact, all that thing of a campaign member. Is he responded, not responded? So this will drive based on the status. So it is on the send status, which is not responded. If it was status was RSVP yes, then it will be a responded status. And to all these campaigns, you can associate contacts and lead, as we saw in the beginning, right? So campaign member, which is an object, and that can have contact or lead. So you can have either contact or lead associated to the campaign member. Now you can do that kind of association on a bulk also from a contact page. So let's say you go to your contact page. In the contact list view, you select a list view and select all the people whom you want to add to a campaign. You do the checkbox selecting, and then you click on add to campaign button, and then all the people you selected will get added to the particular campaign with the status you select. So when you click this, it will show you a pop-up with the status you want to select, and then with that status, let's say you selected send status, added all the 50 people in the list, all the 50 gets added to the campaign as a campaign members. Okay, now let's talk about the opportunity and campaign relationship, how they are related. Okay, so as we talked previously in the lead conversion, the lead will get converted into account contact and optionally an opportunity. So if the opportunity is created from a lead, at that point of time, the lead will have the primary campaign source populated. So this campaign, the recent campaign which was there, will be populated in the primary campaign source field on the opportunity. So that field is a lookup field. So what is a lookup field? Which is looking up to the other object, which is a parent. So this parent will be campaign and will be associated with this opportunity. On the same note, opportunity also have a related list where you can add multiple campaigns to it. So one opportunity can be influenced or have some impact on that opportunity. Then you can have multiple campaigns. So you can have 5 or 6 campaigns which are influencing this opportunity, which is called campaign influence. So if you see this word in exam, campaign influence, it's a related list on opportunity which stores the campaign information. And out of this, let's say 5 campaigns, there will be one which is primary, and that primary one is in the lookup field. So if you on the related list change the primary campaign, from out of those 5 you change the primary campaign to something else, then it will also update the primary campaign lookup field on the opportunity. So campaign influence is multiple campaigns which are influencing the opportunity, out of which there will be one primary which you select and which will be updated on the opportunity as a lookup field. Okay, so that's about the campaign, campaign member, and the campaign influence primary campaign. So these are the important points from the exam. Now, second topic, which is service cloud application. It's only one object which we are mainly dealing with, which is case. And case will be linked with account, contacts, And then there are multiple other smaller objects like knowledge articles, solutions, live chat. All the features have underlying objects, but on main you are working on is a case object. Okay, and what we have is mainly the case management and how you automate the case management, like different support process, auto response, escalation, all those things. So if we take out important points from this service cloud module, we have case management on high level, how you manage the cases, what are queues. Support process we talked already in the previous section. It's the business process to associate the status values of the case with a record type. Different type of cases can have different stages, so that's what you use support process for. Then you have assignment and auto response rule, which are common for case and lead. So cases also have, leads also have assignment and auto response rule. We'll talk about it. And then escalation, you can escalate the cases to next level, which is called escalation rule. Okay, so we start with case management. So case management is service console implementation. Service console is a different user interface on the Salesforce platform, where you see this is kind of a service console where you have different related list. Here on the split view, you have record details, you have the related details, uh, related list, and then you have a main component where you can see the highlights panel. You see the major details here. You have the feed where you can do the chatter, post, log call, email, your major activities you do here. And then what all activities you did in past, you can see here on the feed layout, right? And then on the side panel, you can have a various related list, you can have the knowledge component, and on the bottom you have the utility bar where you can put all your quick handy things which you need for anything everything, like macros, history, notes. Here you can have your soft phone integrated, so your phone call, as soon as you get a customer call, this will pop up here, the phone call, incoming call. You can accept the call from within your Salesforce screen. And you have omni channels where you have multiple channels, so where there are multiple touch points where customer is trying to reach you from different means, like he's trying to reach you from chat, he's trying to reach you from phone call, SMS, email. So all that can route through your agents based on their availability, who is most available resource, or who is having the right skills to handle that kind of case. You can do all those kind of routing using omni channel. And then you can also build your custom components and add them here on the bottom bar. You can click a button and it will open a custom component. You can write your Apex and LWC code into it and then show whatever you want to do. Help the customer agent to improve their productivity, or help the customer agents to resolve the case faster, right? All that can be configured in the service console. So this gives a one page view and help them work faster on the cases. So here, as soon as they click on a case, it opens in a new tab within the console. So it doesn't opens multiple tabs on your browser, but in the same tab it will create multiple primary and sub tabs in the console. So that helps them navigate from one case to another case very quickly. And if there is a phone call, also the Salesforce has feature that it will identify who is calling based on the phone number, and then it will open the contact record of that person quickly on the screen without you need to open that. So all those features can be configured in the CTI integration, telephony integration, and the live chat. Okay, so this is overall about case management. So you have all the features on the service cloud to handle various cases differently. Now once the cases comes in, what happens to them? They goes into queues. What are queues? Queues are basically a setup to handle multiple action items together. So let's talk about queues first. So let's say we have a queue called New York case queues. So all the cases which are coming from New York, you want them to be assigned to multiple people, right? So this is a queue where you have cases being coming in into the system. So you have one case, let's say it got added to the queue. Now everybody who is member of this queue can see these cases. So now anybody, all these six people who are member of this queue can see the case, and they can take the ownership of this case. Now all this drives from the ownership point of view. where uh, these people can become an owner, or the owner can be the queue. So now at this point, the owner of the case is this queue, so everybody has access. And once any case is assigned to a person, the ownership will remain with that person only. So now if the case is coming and it is directly being assigned to the person, then the other people in the queue cannot see it. So they are part of the queue, but the case is assigned to a particular individual. Then the access is driven based on whatever you have OWD settings. Maybe based on OWD setting they can see, but from ownership perspective, this person will own the case and nobody else can see the case who are part of the queue. But for sharing the case with all the people, you assign ownership of the case to the queue and not to the particular person, and then they can take the workload from their bandwidth and then take it as soon as they get. So let's say there are so many cases which has come and piled up into the queue. So now there are 5 cases which are sitting in the queue, and all these people are maybe, let's say, currently occupied with work, and they are currently working on it. Now, for let's say this person who was working on this case, he had the ownership of this case, but he finished his work and it's out of his queue. It is case is closed. Now he have some bandwidth. Now he wants to pick up new work. So this queue act as a placeholder. In this queue the works is sitting, so there are 5 cases which are sitting in this queue, and this person have visibility over all the 5, and now he can pick maybe this one. So because he has skill sets to address this case, so he will pick this case from the queue, and the case will be assigned to this person. And other people now cannot see this case because this case has gone from the queue. Now other people will not have visibility on this case because it's now assigned to this person and he's working on it. Okay, and so on and so forth. So maybe other people who are there in the queue, if they also have some bandwidth, they want to work on a case, they can pick another case from here and then start working on it. So this queue system helps management of work, basically assigning work to people. So you don't put workload on every one person, and then you can distribute the work between group of people. So when you set up queues, you can add people into it. So members of the queue can be individual users. You can select maybe 5 or 10 users. You can add roles, so anybody having a particular role. So it's again, role is a group of people. Roles and subordinate is like roles, and all the roles which are below that role. So that's also another group of people. Then public groups are also something in Salesforce to create group of people. You can create that group and then assign that group into a queue, so then all the members of this group will also have membership to this particular queue. Now, the only difference between the public groups and queues is the object thing, supported object. So queues have ability that you can assign the queues as a owner of a record. So supported object, basically, if I am creating a queue, so let's say here you see an example, EMEA leads, and now in the available objects I will go and select a lead object and select that object into this. So then this EMEA lead queue can become owner of lead record. So whichever object you select in the configuration of a queue, that object, this lead can become a owner of. So you can assign the ownership of the lead records to this EMEA leads, but not any other object. But let's say you want a queue which can be member of, which can be owner of, let's say, 2 types of objects, leads and cases. So it's a common group of people who works on leads also, and they works on case also. So then you can add leads and cases both into the selected object, and then they will be able to work on leads as well as case. So this queue will be able to hold cases and leads, 2 type of objects in it. But when you define only single type of objects, let's say case, then it can hold only cases in it. So that's how you can segregate the queues into the system. And then there are only some limited standard objects which are supported: leads, tasks, service contract, cases, order, knowledge article. Tasks were recently added in, I think, 2 or 3 release back. I don't remember the exact release number, but it was recently introduced. So this can be a question as well. You can keep this in mind. Tasks were also added into the queues. And then custom objects. So any custom object which we create, all of them are available for queues. Okay, that's about queues. Moving forward about automation. So automations, what we have out of the box is uh, for input and output. So for creating leads and cases automatically, you have features like web to case, web to lead, and email to case. So for case, it's only email. So you can from if you get an email to a particular email address, it will automatically generate a case record. So that's kind of a support email address. So Dell@support.com, something, you send an email, it will create a support ticket and they will start working on it. Similarly, on the website you can have a form where you can maybe inquiry form. So if you fill the inquiry form, it will create a lead in the system. And if there is a support form, you fill all the details, what's the problem you are facing, it will create a support ticket. So that is web to case. So these are the ways to create um, cases and lead into the system. Now, as soon as the case and lead is created, you must have seen you get a response back that we have received your response, we are working on it, and we will reach out to you within 24 hours or 48 hours, whatever the SLA is. That is called auto response rule. So you will send a response back automatically as soon as the lead or case is created. That is called auto response rule. So you can configure these rules, you can create email templates and set that template and that same information which is there in the template with the name of the lead, email, all that will be uh, populated in the template with merge fields, and it will send back email to that person that we are working on it, and you don't need to send it all information again. So that is called auto response rules. Now, once you have the leads and cases created, we need to assign these to people in our org to work on it, right? The sales agent and the service agent. So sales agents need to work on the leads. So to assign it to sales agent, um, we can create assignment rules. To assign the cases, we can create assignment rules, right? So what assignment rules are, basically you create criteria. So if it meets this criteria, that the priority is high, the owner is this, or the region is New York, then assign it to the New York high support case queue. Similarly, for leads, assign it to New York sales agent queue. So you can assign it to the queues. You can also assign it directly to a user also from these assignment rules. So you can assign it to queue or a user directly. And uh, there should be only one assignment rule active, which will have all these different filter criteria, conditions. Basically, you can have 5 to 10 conditions in a assignment rule, and then that will list down, for this one condition go to this queue, second condition go to queue. At a time you will have one assignment rule which will have all those different routing details. Basically, this is, in other words, also called case and lead routing. Okay, so that you can do and assign it to the queues based on the assignment rules. Okay, now moving forward, after assigning it to a person, if they are not working on it on timely manner, then you need to escalate to the next level support. So it has been assigned to a support team and then they are not working on it, they're a product support. So let's say there was a product support assigned to an agent and they have not responded to that agent within 4 hours, right? And it has gone above 4 hours, then you need to escalate it to the tier 2 support queue or tier 3 support queue, right? So those kind of escalation where it gets assigned to the next level queue automatically is done using escalation rule. So here always on the escalation rule, the difference between assignment rule is the time trigger. So here you also have a time trigger feature. Based on that time trigger, it will go to the next level. In the assignment rule, it was only uh, once, like, which is when it get created. At that time, whatever was the conditions and the filter criteria, if it meets all that condition, it goes to that particular queue. But an escalation rule, it is the next level escalation, which is when it is also meeting a, or the age is happening going below or above a specified time. So, and in that you can also send email templates sending the notification that we have escalated your case to the next level and we are working on it, all that. And you can also set all these different entry criterias and set the early trigger settings. So we'll talk about early trigger settings as well. uh, but basically escalation is to take it to the next level. Now, what is early triggers? In Salesforce, the evaluation of the escalation happen at every 15-minute interval, right? So let's say case escalation is set as 1 hour. after it is created, if nobody acts on it after 1 hour, we need to escalate it to the next level. Now case was created at 12:05. Now if the time on the clock is 12, basically at this point the case is not yet created, so no point that it will be escalated. Now 12:15, at that point Salesforce will evaluate, so it has been just 10 minutes, so it will not escalate. 12:30 not escalate, 12:45 not escalate, 1 o'clock not escalate because it is still 55 minutes only, it is not completed 1 hour. But at 1:15 it will escalate because it has gone above 1 hour. It is 1 hour 10 minutes now, been the case created, so it is has gone escalated. But now you see the escalation has happened at 1 hour 10 minute, uh, after 1 hour 10 minute, and not at 1 hour, right, which we wanted that it get escalated at 1 hour. But if you want strict SLAs that we don't miss on the 1 hour SLA, then we need to escalate it on the previous instant itself, right? So if you want that kind of setting, you can enable early triggers in the escalation rule, and what Salesforce will do will escalate it at 1 o'clock itself, because it knows on the next instant it will meet the criteria of 1 hour. So when it happens, it will escalate on the previous interval itself. So that kind of setting you can do to meet your strict SLAs. If you have strict SLAs, you can do that as well. Okay, so that's about escalation rule. Okay, so coming to exam tips, really very important. This will help you get max out of what you have knowledge. So again, you cannot learn and remember everything, but what you have learned, you should try to take the best utilization of that knowledge. So to do that, you should know some tips, which is basically first and foremost is you should make sure that you read all the question details. So all the question answer details you should go and read in detail. Don't skip any portion of the question, don't skip any portion of the answer, and don't just overthink or assume any question that this is maybe that's why they have written it this way. Whatever is written, they have written it very specifically. They want you to judge that question based on your knowledge and then answer it correctly. So there are some instances where you might overthink or assume, and it can lead you in direction of selecting a wrong answer. It's kind of trying to bluff you into right or wrong answer. So read that details carefully, and you have enough time also in the exam to answer. Like you have almost around 95 seconds per question, so you can read through all the details very carefully and then answer them, because there will be some questions which will be very quick. You can answer them in like 10-20 seconds, because those will be straightforward questions. If you know them, you will just be able to click the answer and go next. So those kind of will uh, like questions will be there. So you should give the question enough time, at least a minute or so. Wherever it is a big question, it's a some reading is there, right? So you read them properly, and then if you feel like the question is very big, very lengthy, you don't want to spend much time on it, you put a review flag on it and take forward, because then you will keep answering some good and questions which you know. It will build up a confidence, and then you will be able to handle those difficult questions in the end when you have some greater time, right? So you can use the review flag in that point and then go forward answering them later. And then for the multiple answer questions, there will be always questions with 2 or 3 right answers to be selected. So on those questions, make sure that the combination you select makes overall right answer. There could be a couple of right answers, but you need to choose them wisely, because once you select those options, if those options altogether make a right answer, that is what Salesforce is looking for. Like you do this, and do this. So if you do those 3 things, it makes up a solution, or a or a valid answer. Otherwise, if you miss one of it, it doesn't make a valid answer. Maybe the fourth one is also right option, but that alone cannot serve the purpose. Maybe you need other thing to make it a complete answer. So that kind of combination you should choose when you are answering the multiple answers, right? You there are examples out there on the trailhead practice test, so you can do those hands-on practice on the trailhead modules. There is a practice set quiz there. We also did one session on question answers, where we run through the trailhead practice test and see how to answer those questions. So you can check that session as well and see how we select on right question, and what is the approach we should do to select the right questions, right? And then again, knowledge is the key. You should know. If you know the things well, you have gone through them at least once, you would be able to answer them very quickly. Okay, additional information. So you have a lot of other resources to prepare for your exam. First one is web accessories, very important, where you should go and register yourself and sign up, and then you uh, select your exam and set a date and things in advance, that you know that when you are going to give the exam. So web accessories, where you do that. Then you have trail mix on Trailhead to see the modules, do them hands-on exercise in your org. Then Trailhead live videos. These are short 20-minute videos. I have shared a lot of links of those videos as well in previous sessions. You can go check them out and do the revisions. Then there is a certification days webinar which happens every month. It is a 5-hour webinar where Salesforce certified instructors will teach you, or again do a revision like how we did, but that in 5 hours they will do revision for all the items. Today we did only one specific topic, right? Two specific topics, sales and service. Similarly, they would run through the whole course in 5 hours. And then you have Trailhead practice test, a lot of other uh, websites which also give some free practice tests. I have listed out in my blog as well. You can check out the blog, and it also has links to the various chatter groups where you can get more resources, more people who are getting admin certification. You can work with them together and get certified. So you can check this blog, SF Admin blog, which has all the links to all of these information, and all the recordings for previous sessions which we did are on YouTube at bit.ly admin videos. I think this is the last session which we are doing on the admin certification, so it will complete the whole series for admin certification. So all of that is there on the YouTube at bit.ly admin videos.
If you are watching this on YouTube, please post your questions as comments and I'll answer them as soon as possible. Thank you.
We have lots of Salesforce events which happened in past and which are upcoming also, so you can register for the upcoming June, July, August events, dreaming events, which happens every month. You can see all the past events like World Tour, New York City, London, World Tour Sydney, Trailblazer DX on Salesforce Plus. They are all recorded. You can see that. We did some sessions on our community, and in 2022 we did this certification one. This is the first one we did in 2022. We also planning now to start a web certification series for App Builder or PD1 certification. Please give your feedback. Which one should we start, App Builder or PD1? We'll also do some series or learning series on the Velocity or Salesforce Industries. You can join the chatter group and share your thoughts, feedbacks. If you want to share something now on the chat, please share. You want to say something, what you feel about our engagement, our community. We'll definitely try to also do some certification vouchers in future, and join the LKSF Devs group so that you are notified when we do the next event on our Trailblazer community group.
We will highly appreciate if you can do some Twitter engagement by going to this link or scanning the QR code to share this post with the fellow trailblazers and help them in their admin certification journey and get benefit of this content. If you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to get notified of all the upcoming videos. You can follow us on Twitter at LKSFDevs and on Facebook at LK Trailblazers. You all were a great audience. Thank you very much for watching this video. Stay connected, stay safe, take care. Bye bye.